and welcome to my first tip-top tool tip. Here is a generic method for using a Shrinkwrap modifier on any rigged mesh. In this demo I use a fully rigged character template from Avastar. But you actually can also use any other rig here, like avatar.blend for example. And this is the very simple skirt that I made in another tutorial. I created a cylinder and applied a Shrinkwrap modifier, where the Shrinkwrap target is set to the skirt template of the character. Now I want to attach my new mesh to my rig, but I also want to keep the Shrinkwrap modifier intact. Let's hide the skirt template layer here for a moment. And enable smooth shading for the new skirt. Now let's attach the new skirt to the rig with an automatic generation of the weight maps. Ensure that you are in object mode, and the skirt is selected. Then shift right click on the armature. Now navigate to Object, Parent, Set, Armature Deform. Finally select the option labeled as, with automatic weights. Now the mesh has been attached to the rig, and the weight maps have been generated. Let's check if it works. Select the rig. Go to pose mode. And now move the bones. Well, it worked, but the result is ugly. The reason why this happens can be found in the modifier stack of the skirt. We see that the Shrinkwrap modifier is on top. That is, it is calculated first. However, the target of the Shrinkwrap modifier is itself modified by the armature. Let me unhide the template skirt, and disable the armature modifier of the new skirt for a moment. Now you can see better what happens here. And you see that our new skirt is now shrink-wrapped around the already posed skirt template. When I now re-enable the armature, the already deformed skirt gets deformed again, hence the armature modifier is effectively applied twice to our skirt. So, let's move the Shrinkwrap modifier down below the armature modifier. Now our new skirt is first bended just like the skirt template, then shrink-wrap to the skirt template. Hence now the armature modifier is effectively only applied once. Moving the Shrinkwrap modifier down on the stack helps a bit, but we run into many more problems as soon as we start moving the arms. Now the skirt gets more and more spiky, and attaches to the arms and hands. This is due to the nature of how the Shrinkwrap modifier actually finds its target surfaces. And here is the trick how you can fix that. First reset the character to T-pose by pressing A. You might need to press the key twice to select all bones. Then press Alt-R to reset all rotations. Finally go back to object mode. Now create two linked copies, by first selecting the skirt template. Then press Alt-D, followed by an immediate left mouse click. Now select the upper body. Press again, Alt-D, followed by left click. We will see in a moment what benefits we get from using linked copies here. But first let us move the copies to another layer for getting our setup better organized. And here comes the important part of the trick, remove the armature modifiers from the copied objects. When we pose the character now, then the copies no longer get influenced by the bones. Let me demonstrate that by selecting layer 1 and layer 2 at the same time. Then move the bones a bit. You see that the just created copies are not influenced by the bone movements. Now let's turn back to the new skirt. Open the modifiers tab. And now change the Shrinkwrap target and the auxiliary target to point to the just created copies. And finally move the Shrinkwrap modifier up above the armature modifier. So, since the Shrinkwrap target is no longer influenced by the pose as it was before, now the shrink-wrapped skirt is also static. Hence the armature modifier now works on a well-defined static mesh, and we end up with a clean pose. Now we only have to tweak the weight maps a bit and our skirt is done. I will get back to this in my next tool tip. But hold on, I made linked copies before, and I promise to tell you why that makes sense, why I did not make independent copies by using Shift-D. Now here is the explanation. Our model uses shape keys, so we can modify the model by using shape sliders for all model parts, also for the skirt template. Now I have used linked copies, thus the shape sliders also influence the copies. And since the copies are shrink-wrap targets of the new skirt, the skirt is now also influenced by the shape sliders. That is neat, isn't it? Thank you for watching.